Hey, friend, have you ever heard the term honeymoon in retirement or honeymoon in relocation? I think I've coined that term because I couldn't find anything about it in the literature when I did a search. I want to talk about what happens when the honeymoon ends as a retiree or specifically as an expat, an immigrant in retirement. All right, because this is us, this group. I think you'll be interested in this discussion, discovery. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, friend. I started thinking about this topic because I believe I am in that post-honeymoon phase. And because I'm so into introspection, I might say something that you're going to say, oh, I've been feeling like that. Is that what you call it? I got the same response when I wrote an article that I called Moral Injury, trying to describe or trying to put a face to the phenomenon that was happening post-COVID, where so many of us healthcare professionals were quitting, right? And we started to think about, even before COVID, that healthcare workers felt trapped, that they could not provide the care that they had sworn to provide. But anyway, let's get into the honeymoon phase of relocation, retiring abroad. If this is your first time seeing me, my name is Maggie Lazar. I am a retired nurse, nurse practitioner, and I have been retired in Panama, the country of Panama, for 3.5 years now. I am also the creator of SWRA, Single Women Retiring Abroad, a group of sassy older ladies such as yours truly. I just had a birthday 2 days ago. Blessed to be 68 years young, and I give God the glory. So we are all here trying to live our best lives, regardless of the challenges. And we are also intentional about creating community so we can retire in place, age in place here in this beautiful country, if they let us. And also, what I always tag along this description is that our goal is to create a newer model of aging abroad that is sustainable and affordable. If you're interested in any of these topics, or if you're interested in health, if you're interested in healthy eating and cooking, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Por favor. I thank you. But I started thinking about that because when you go and you research the word honeymoon, psychologists tell you this is a time of discovery. It is also a time of infatuation. It is a time where all the good hormones are just like flowing and you in love. You just goo goo gaga. Oh my God, he's so handsome. He's so beautiful. She speaks good. She smells good. It checks all the boxes. And when I went to do a bit of research, and I'm like, how long does that last? And I got anywhere from 1 to 3 years. Well, I've been here 3.5 years, and I can tell you that I am starting to, my vision has stabilized. And and that's why I want to talk about it. What is the honeymoon phase? I kind of just described it for you in terms of individuals and couples. So how would it look like? What do I call the honeymoon phase of retirement? The honeymoon phase is exactly a parallel that we could do with a relationship. When you decide to move abroad, you are developing a new relationship, except that you are more mature, right? And we're going to see some nuances between where you are on the lifespan and what your experiences might be in the honeymoon phase and post the honeymoon phase. All right. This is a phase where everything is new. If you have decided to move abroad, and those of you who listen to me, a lot of you are in the process of making that decision, or you've made it. I had a text from a sister the other day. She'd be talking to me a lot, after the video. She said, "I can't believe I haven't run into you. I've been here since whatever." But this is a time of discovery. You're discovering your new country, wherever that might be. You in the ooh and ah phases, right? Like say you, for example, let's say you went on vacation in Thailand and and you posting, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful, the food, the people, everything is new, everything is different, and everything seems shiny and just talks to you, right?" And I remember when I came to Panama for the very first time, I did not fall in love with the shiny. I fell in love with the feeling. And you've heard my story that I was in a boat on a tour and my soul connected. The sense of peace that came upon me was just like, wow, I really like how I feel when I'm here. And I made 3 more trips, and every trip was a reinforcement of the beauty, the lushness, the kindness of the people, the food, the history. It was a time of discovery. It was a time of learning this new partner in this new relationship, Panama. Talk about the crime rate, the political structure, the history, the different groups of people, the how they do things, right? And you are constantly learning. Every day is a new adventure, the road, the infrastructure, right? But if you were to look at the parallel that we talked about, let's say you're in a relationship. I've seen a psychologist say in that honeymoon phase, you're kind of blinded by a lot of what you see in your partner, right? And a lot of times, whether in a relationship, it's the hormones talking, or whether it's all the serotonin and dopamine and all the good hormones flooding your brain, you kind of position yourself in a way where you just don't allow reality to set in. You don't allow it because you're too infatuated, right? And when the honeymoon, even though after what we call honeymoon, really, when you think of a couple, it's that time that you go away, but that's not really honeymoon. The honeymoon extends longer than that. And that's what they said, first year of marriage, for example, you know how it is. You just like, oh, he's so this, she's so that, and you're in love and everything is good. And then after a few years, you're like, he didn't look like that when I saw him the first time. She wasn't that fat when I saw him. He wasn't that sloppy. You start discovering things. And then if you're not planted, right? If your relationship is not solid, things could go sour, right? So let's look at the relationship we have with our new country, right? You learn the visa process. You're learning how, because there is that difference between being a visitor versus being a resident, because now it's day to day to day. And that's why a lot of people suggest that you come and live in a place for like 3 to 6 months before you sell everything and come and realize, because real life is going to set in rather quickly. Okay. But you could still be in that honeymoon phase. I do believe that the honeymoon phase could be anywhere between 6 months to 5 years. And I think it depends on a few factors. For example, it depends on your reason for relocating. What prompted you to want to retire abroad? You know, we've gone over that in some videos. Maybe you had an earlier experience. Maybe you backpacked through Europe, or maybe your parents were stationed here in Panama, or they work for the canal. So you had a prior connection and you've always wanted to come back. When you do come back, your experiences might be different. Your idea of the honeymoon could say, well, I was here before, so it's not all new, right? Versus someone like me who had never made it here before, who had no familiar connection, right? So everything is definitely exaggerated in how they look to you, especially things looking so different from what I or you had left. Also, I feel that if you relocate, not as a retiree, but let's say as a family, and your job has moved you around, let's say you were in the armed forces and then you are a, what do they call that? Military kid, right? So you're used to moving around. It's different because I don't know that the honeymoon phase would be quite the same because you always have the expectation, oh, well, I don't want to just plant myself here too deeply because the next assignment might be around the corner. Okay. And also, how easy was your transition? Did you have, we talk about that other videos as well. You had families, putting pressure on you or not believing you or playing on your emotions, calling you a sellout or, and all that. Are you leaving people behind that constantly pull on you, right? Are you someone with lots of grandkids, right? And you missing out, the honeymoon might be shorter for you in that situation because your heart is still back there and you're being pulled. You don't want to miss another grandchild. And we talk about that. Some of you might just couldn't handle it and like, okay, I'm done. And I want to be there for my grandkids. It's not enough to FaceTime. It's not the same. I don't want to talk to them through the screen. I want to hang on to them. I want to kiss them and okay. So all these factors I feel could affect your honeymoon. Also, your financial position could affect your honeymoon, how long the honeymoon is. If you start having a financial difficulty after 6 months, well, that might be the end of your honeymoon. Okay. So I believe that the honeymoon of the ooh and ah, everything being shiny varies by individuals. Okay, so what does it look like? What does it look like when you feel like the honeymoon, is settling in? And it's not necessarily a negative. Don't go there, okay? All right, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We always have conversation. This is my style of delivery, and that's not gonna change. So how does it look? How do you know if you are entering or are you in that honeymoon phase? I feel like I'm entering after 3.5 years. And how do I know that I'm entering? My love for Panama has not changed, right? But I don't think I no longer see everything bright and shiny anymore. So it's like, well, this is life with all its quirks and issues, problems, challenges, whatever you want to call it. Yes, when you're a new expat, things might be magnified, like the mañana mindset. We talk about that. Oh, that's magnified, right? Or the sidewalks being what they are, that might be magnified. The challenges of not speaking the language, definitely that could be magnified. And that could affect the length of your honeymoon, right? Might shorten it, right? For me, it wasn't that short because a lot of those things I had already experienced, expected, so not too many surprises. Now, when I was pickpocketed, yes, that was a surprise because that was not something that I thought was a factor that I should consider or that might affect me as a retiree. So that was okay, even though I was still in the honeymoon phase. Life is more sedate, right? It's quiet. It's not, I don't feel like I need to go to many places. And I can tell you that because when I see new people coming in and they're like going here, going there, going here, and I'm like, oh, I did that. Yeah, I remember. Right? When you first get here, you want to experience everything. You in the honeymoon phase. You in the ooh and ah phase. You want to go to every tour. It's storming out there. Can you guys hear that? That's why I told the sister, don't go be on a boat around this time of the year here. But you want to go to all the events. You want to be at every party gathering and everything about Panama you want to go visit. Well, sitting on this side now of the other side of the honeymoon phase, I'm like, oof, that's exhausting. No, I don't need to go. Right? I remember a sister invited me to go to something they have in one area called Peotanal at Casco Viejo, where everybody comes and they have music and people are dancing in the streets. And I'm like, well, it looks nice on TV, but I don't think I want to be going over there fighting, among throngs of people as a resident, fighting the heat. This is when you are outside of the honeymoon phase. You're like, okay, it's nice, but I don't need to go there. I don't need to go there, right? Another thing that could happen is that, in terms of prices, whether it's rental or whether it's food or clothing, when you first come, you're like, oh my God, things are so cheap because you're comparing it with what you've left. And if you're not careful, you're going to spend a lot of money, right? But now you're like, I don't need to go buy all this stuff. No, I don't need that. No, that's good. That's good. I'm good, sis, right? So you become more conscious of your expenses because when you first get here, you're going to decorate the apartment. You want to go buy this, you want to go buy that. You want your house to look like this. You're hiring the housekeeper, you're going to do this, do that. And then now you're like, even though for me, that's the reverse. I didn't have a housekeeper. I only had her this one time. But I said I'm going to do it once a month. I don't need a housekeeper once a week. It's just me in a house all by myself. So things don't excite you as much. Things don't surprise you as much. You becoming more tolerant. Of course, I'm a very sedate, kind of quiet person anyway. But I really don't feel, ooh, this guy's holding a snake on the television. I don't feel like I need to go to all the different resorts that they have outside of the city because I know that traffic over there. And I'm like, I don't need to do all that. But I think also we could say it has a lot to do with personality, right? My personality is that I don't need a lot of stimulation. And I am okay. The introvert comes in. I was talking to a sister the other day. She's like, oh, I was so happy when you made that video because that's me. I'm not antisocial. I'm just an introvert. I said, sis, join the club. I get you. I get you. But I think your personality, if you're someone who is calm and collected, I believe that your honeymoon, I don't know if it's going to be sooner or not, but it changes. It's just subtle changes that tells you, you know what? I still love Panama. I still love Thailand. I still love Mexico, but I'm able to see with new eyes the things that are not all bright and shiny. Does that make sense to you? And that doesn't mean you're going to badmouth the place. You're just you're taking stock and you're realistic. and you accepting, because remember, you made the decision to come. You weren't recruited. You're not a recruit, right? So it's like, okay, this is my new reality. This is what it is. How can I make a life among the people with whatever it is that I'm living with, that I've been handed? All right. So the next section is, how do you manage that without feeling like, oh, now I'm disappointed. Oh, it wasn't what I expected. You get that too, right? Oh, maybe now it's time to make a move. That happens too. We come to an understanding that, well, it's great, but maybe it's not that great. And some people feel, well, maybe let me go try that over there. Because remember, I always say that if you make a move, you make a decision to retire abroad, and in your mind, you're saying, well, I'm going to try it. You already kind of setting yourself up for an early honeymoon breakup, because you are not in your mind fully committed. And I would not be someone to sit here to criticize anybody who says after 2 years, well, it wasn't what I thought. I'm going to head over there. Sis, you do you. You do you. We're just having conversation. Remember, my conversations are always introspection. Let's go inward and see what's going on and acknowledge it. And if you acknowledge how you're feeling, it makes it easier for you to move forward, doesn't it? So some tips, I've written some tips on how you manage this season where this is a new reality for you. This is the reality. There are people who've been here 19 years, 16 years. I'd love to sit down and talk to them and say, do you believe you had a honeymoon phase? And how did it change? And where are you now? Those simple conversations. I think I have a couple of sisters I can ask those questions of. So how do you manage the new relationship that you have now? There is something I read about the regular, the couple honeymoon phase. And they said after the hormones have quieted down and, the stars have fallen off your eyes, you have to really work on your interpersonal skills to make the relationship work and not expecting perfection. Oh, that one is for us. We cannot come to a place and expect perfection, right? And once the reality sets in, then we feel disappointed. That's a no-no. That's a no bueno, right? So we have to work on that. And what we call that is manage your expectations and be realistic that you're coming to a new place. And then I think one of the biggest challenges is that the fact that you're an older person. We tend to be set in our ways. We have formed these things in our head, and that's what we expect. I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, these adults expect to be catered to. And I think for us, that is a hindrance in retirement abroad. We expect people to serve us because we have reached a certain age. I work with seniors in my career. And when I see these older people having that sense of expectation that people would serve them, and you see it here too, when people come to visit and they go to a restaurant, and the way they carry themselves, it's like, you're here to serve me. So the way you manage the post-honeymoon phase is to manage your expectations. No, no, no. No one's here to serve you or to save you. You're here. You figure it out. You make it work, right? The other thing that I say it's important is like set your mind to enjoying the new reality. The discovery that, oh, okay, so if you cross the border and you don't get that stamp, yeah, you get slapped with $1,000 fine. You can call it a scam, whatever it is, but that's your reality. People on social media talk a lot about if you're a victim of a crime, the way the whole process is handled. It is different. It's different. So you got to get your brain ready for that. Oh, you mean you're not going to be doing A, B, C, D? Well, no, here we do A, maybe B. Manage your expectation. Join. Enjoy the discovery because it is not the same. It's different. Okay? Adaptation that follows that. Listen, sis, you're not going to fight the system. And this is where we, in post-honeymoon phase, you may say, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with the fact that I don't understand the language. I can't deal with the slowness of things. I can't deal with the way everything is like a laissez-faire. Nobody is in a rush to do anything. That has happened to people. All right? So be adaptable. Oh, okay. You know, like when somebody tells me I'm expecting a delivery and I'm like, sis, it could come, it may not. And then when I call back, I'm like, did they come? Maybe half the time that's like, no, they said they're gonna come tomorrow. Why did they come till the following week? That is our new reality in Panama. I don't know if if it's the same everywhere else, but that's the adaptation that you must, if you're gonna stay here and still be happy. Um, Reframe long-term relationships. I don't know if it's with people. Did I write that for people or the relationship with the new place? Probably the new place. Again, as I said, if you're thinking, I'm going to try it, you're already at a disadvantage. But if you say, well, this is it, that means in your mind, you're saying, this is going to have to work because this is it. And you have to make that determination yourself, right? And live it. This is not something that you're just saying. You're going to have to live it. So every time something happens, instead of getting upset and say, oh my God, I can't believe, like this guy said, I went to the little store, they didn't have my tool. And I'm like, well, bring it next time you go. Like I talked about, I couldn't find, some body wash. It's like somebody's coming. Could you bring me some, please? Manage it. All right, long term. You need to have the long term view that this is not, especially as you get older. If you're in your 40s, something doesn't work in 3, 4 years, it's a lot easier to get up and go. But let me tell you, in your 70s, to be getting up and going to a whole new country, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work and money and stamina. I don't even want to move from one area to another, let alone to another country. And if I do decide it, I have to get in my mind that that's going to be a lot of work. All right. Acknowledge the phase, right? So now when you start feeling, you say, like me, now I go and I see the pollera dancers. And I remember when I first got here, oh my God. Oh, oh, oh. Now I'm like, that's nice. That's the post-honeymoon phase. It is nice, but I'm not so excited. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I'm in the post-honeymoon phase. And it's okay. It's not bad. Acknowledge that you're in that phase. Once you start feeling like things don't excite you as much, and you're becoming more reserved, more sedate, and you don't have the urge to do this, go here, 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 here. You're like, I'm good. Yeah, this is life now, and it is what it is, and we're going to work with it. You're in the post-honeymoon phase, sis. All right? Reality check again, right? Adapt. This is it. You decided to come. No one forced you. Remember that. Okay? And discover a new routine. Yes, you don't have to be going here, 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 here every single day. You can establish a routine. And again, I'm just a calm person. Somebody may feel the need to do 3, 4 things in the day. I might have it on my calendar, but it does not require me to leave my house to be going here, here, here. I get tired just thinking about it. No, but that's me. All right. Reinvention. Right. There is nothing worse than feeling like you're in a rut, feeling like there is nothing new, right? Right? okay, the house is done. All my bills are paid. I'm hooked up with all the things that I need to do. And then you start getting bored. Remember, over here, if you get bored, it's because you want to be bored because there's a lot to do. All right. And my introverts, you got to try to put yourself out there. Otherwise, yes, you're going to be sitting at home with nothing to do. And that's a no bueno. You know, I tell you, you need to move. So go, get up, get on the bus, the metro, do something. So reinventing is like finding things about you that you want to improve, that you want to learn. That is going to blunt the effect of that post-honeymoon phase. If you have project, if you have new discoveries, if you find new places to volunteers, if you have new friendships, just always put yourself out there and open yourself to the universe. When something comes your way, don't just ignore it and say, well, I'm waiting for God to drop something in my lap. And he's sending left and right, he's sending folks and things. And you're like, nope, I'm waiting. That's a no bueno. So we talk about this age as the age of reinvention, that we are finding things about ourselves that we didn't think about, right? Never limit yourself. Again, as I said, I used to be in healthcare. Right now, I'm not doing anything healthcare related. So I'm opening myself to whatever the universe throws at me. And you need to have that openness also, right? And that attitude of expectation, an attitude, a spirit of gratitude for where you are, for what you're experiencing, which is more than a lot of people get to do, right? And then open yourself to more because you don't ever want to get into a rut when you're like, oh, okay, there's nothing else that interests me. There's nothing I want to do. Ooh, that is so not me. And I hope it's not you, sis. So, sis, can you relate to any of this? Do you feel that there is a time? And again, I said I would love to talk to some, I don't say old timers, but people who've been here or who've transitioned to a new place as a retiree for a long time ago. And I'm pretty sure I would get some really good conversation that says, well, you know, maybe I thought about going back or something happened. And, you know, the stories are always so interesting. So hopefully that'll be my next video. I always get ideas. You see, this is the reinvention phase. I get no ideas, whether it's in my cooking or whether it's, I open myself to the universe. Yes, I do. All right, sis. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Let me know in the comments if you have gone through a transition where everything is no longer bright and shiny and you're just settling in. That's a new term, settling in, right? Where you say, okay, this is my life now. This is my reality. It's not a negative. It's just I need to acknowledge it where I am in the process in my life right now. So I hope you talk to us in the comment, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. Au revoir. À la prochaine. Bye.